This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Iran has approved a plan to raise its oil output to 4 million barrels per day, the country's Tasnim news agency said on Sunday, without providing a time frame. An economic council headed by Iran's interim president Mohammad Mokber has approved a plan to raise the country's oil output from 3.6 million barrels per day to 4 million barrels per day, Tasnim added. Iran is a major producer within the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC.
Oil prices steadied in Asian trading on Monday as markets awaited an OPEC Plus meeting on June 2 where producers are expected to discuss maintaining voluntary output cuts for the rest of the year. The Brent crude July contract was up 24 cents to $82.36 a barrel as of 0638 GMT. The more active August contract rose 29 cents to $82.13. Brent ended last week about 2% lower and WTI lost nearly 3% after Federal Reserve minutes showed some officials would be willing to tighten interest rates further if they believed it was necessary to control persistent inflation.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Ukraine intends to maximize the amount of electricity it imports from the European Union during some hours on Monday after recent Russian missile attacks reduced the country's power generation capacity, the Ukrainian power grid operator said. Russian missile and drone attacks on Ukraine's energy sector have intensified since March, resulting in blackouts in many regions. The attacks have caused more than $1 billion of damage, leading to the loss of 8,000 megawatt-hours of generating capacity from the energy system, the government says.
Asia's imports of liquefied natural gas, LNG, are displaying contrasting dynamics in May, with strength in usually price-sensitive buyers like India, but a softer trend in the developed economies such as Japan and South Korea. The top importing continent is on track to receive about 23.61 million metric tons of the super-chilled fuel this month, according to data compiled by commodity analysts Kepler. This is up slightly from April's 23.23 million tons, although on a daily basis May's arrivals are a touch weaker, while they are stronger than the 20.75 million from May 2023. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Shanghai aluminium futures rose on Monday, buoyed by a price rally in key raw material alumina and fast-growing demand from the new energy sector. The most traded July aluminium contract on the Shanghai Futures Exchange gained 0.1% to 20,910 yuan, $2,886.41 per metric ton in daytime trade. Not far from a more than two-year high of 21,610 yuan reached last week. Prices of the light metal rallied on strong market fundamentals and funds buying this year.
Iron ore futures prices slid on Monday after some investors and traders liquidated long positions to cash in profits on bets of faltering consumption amid seasonally slack steel demand in top consumer China. Meanwhile, global iron ore shipments climbed 8.4% week-on-week to about 33.27 million tons in the May 20 to 26 period, data from consultancy MySteel showed, further weighing on prices. The most traded September iron ore contract on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange ended daytime trade 1.1% lower at 899 yuan, $124.10 a metric ton.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Egypt aims to plant 3.5 million feddans, 1.47 million hectares, of wheat for the next fiscal year 2024-2025 compared to 3.2 million feddans from the current one of 2023-2024, Egypt's planning minister said on Sunday. Reaching the target would expand wheat storage capacity to 5.2 million tons, compared to approximately 3.9 million tons of wheat in the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Egypt's plans for strategic crops for the next fiscal year also include 2.8 million feddans of corn and 220,000 feddans of fava beans, the planning minister said. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.